Welcome back to another episode of your favourite golf podcast. I hope you don't listen to any others, because this is the best. It's Golf is Ruining My Life. Hey.
I don't listen to any others.
I do.
Should I?
Yes.
Let's not do adverts for other podcasts. They're all doing great.
Yeah.
But what is...
Rick's is a good one.
Oh, I do love
Shields'
Rick.
got a good one.
Yeah.
And he started doing 2 episodes a week now.
It's because he heard we were doing it.
He did.
Is he? He's double dropping, is he? Double dipping?
He's double dipping.
I hope you guys are enjoying the double dips. Can I say, on a personal level, I'm enjoying the double dips because I just feel like slightly purged. I feel like the number of times we do episodes and I think, I've got more to say. Do you know what I mean? And also, I feel like it's encouraging people to email. We keep getting loads of emails. And something we've always said about this show is we want your input as much as... We're not just two blokes mouthing off about golf. We really want to hear from you. So they've been amazing. And also, if you didn't listen to the email special that we just did, one of my favourite episodes, particularly the stories about being naughty on the golf course.
I don't want to throw people away from what we're currently doing, but I do believe... last week's email special was the best episode of this podcast we've ever had. Yeah, and it was nothing to do with us. It was to do with the amazing emails that you lot sent in.
What we're basically saying is we've run out of content now. So the Toms at golfersruiningmylife.co.uk, cheers.
Yeah, I did text you before today's show being like, I felt like we spoke about golf a lot over the last few weeks. And then I walked in to the studio today and Tom goes, so I'm playing golf today. I'm playing golf tomorrow. I'm playing golf on Sunday.
And Monday.
And wow. Yeah. You've really cracked it by getting your kids into golf because your wife can't have a go at you now. And yes, it's an old trope of, oh, my wife doesn't want me to play golf. But there is some truth in it.
Of course there's some truth in it. And I would love her to play, but she's just not interested. I've got 2 boys and my 11-year-old and my 8-year-old are both into it. The 11-year-old especially is obsessed. And I don't want to be boring parent talking about kids golf because I know it is dull, to be fair.
Especially if people don't have kids like me.
It's dull, exactly.
I don't care about your kids, but I do a bit.
No, I get it. But I would say that and this is something which we can all relate to about golf. He's got a birthday coming up and he's written a list of things he wants. I mean, do you want to hear it? I'm having just said I don't want to be boring dad talking about his kids. This is actually genuinely very funny. Just
so we all know what we're doing now, Tom prefaced this by saying, I don't want to bore you with chat about my kids. He's now about to read us his child's birthday list. This must be what people feel like when I talk about Turtle all the time. She's just a sausage dog. Just a sausage dog.
Dogs are way more interesting than kids. So hang on. I've just got to find it now. Wait.
How old is he, by the way? How's he turning?
So he's about to turn 12.
Oh, okay, fine.
Where's he gone? I've lost it. That's annoying.
See, when I was 12, all I would do is go into the laminated book of dreams, the Argos catalogue, and go through the pages and circle things that I wanted and go, I want that. Yeah. I want that. I want that.
Yeah. And then look at them all the time. So this is what he wrote on my phone and his mother's phone. Junior golf bag, loads of golf clothes, golf brands I'd like, TaylorMade, Puma, Ping, and loads more. Oh wait, Nike as well. Nike NB, not Nike. Maybe a Ping bag actually. 3-wood golf club. Pro V1X golf balls. You're 11 years old. You hit it 120 yards.
You don't need Pro V1s, mate.
TP5X brackets TaylorMade golf balls. Yeah, I know what those are. Those are the ones I use. VR headset. Just throwing that in the mix.
Yeah.
New Scotty Cameron putter.
I bet he does. Can
you imagine getting an 11-year-old a Scotty Cameron putter?
I've mentioned this on the show in the past because golf stuff, I wasn't allowed all this when I was a junior. Yeah. I wasn't given all these, I was very lucky. Mum and dad got me what I needed to play golf, but I wasn't given the super shiny. Yeah, and there was other guys in our golf club who always they were the ones that had the electric trolley first. They all had Scotty Camerons. And I was so jealous. But it was the first thing that I bought when I returned to golf when I had adult money, is I bought all the things that I ever wanted.
Every golfer secretly wants a Scotty Cameron putter.
Yeah.
They do. It's just a fact. And probably a Vokey wedge as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Golf posters. It says to stick on the wall.
That breaks my heart he wants golf posters.
He wants a poster of Scotty Scheffler.
Does he want a poster of us?
I've asked him. He's already got one of me, obviously, signed. To my son, love, your dad. He wants a poster of Scotty Scheffler. And I'm so tempted to get him a picture of Scotty Scheffler's mugshot.
That'd be brilliant. It's funny. It is funny.
Just that. Final thing, Golf GA.
Oh, he's cool.
I like it, though. This is what golf gives you. Golf is a game, so much of golf is built on wanting stuff. I want better shots. I want better putting. I want better chipping. But also I want the kit. I want the stuff.
Don't they say this about hobbies, though? Hobbies are only there to give you something to spend your money on.
Yeah.
It's like cyclists. We are just like cyclists.
Yeah, I know.
Cyclists, all they want is a new bike or some new Lycras or some new clip-on shoes. All we want is the golf equivalent of those things.
I completely agree. But the unique thing about golf is, yeah, we're like cyclists, right? Totally. Or people who get into running or whatever. But
Yes.
fishing, sure. Like there's loads of hobbies that, let's be honest, a lot of men get into at a certain age. But the thing about golf is we all have the ability to hit that one shot as well as a pro. And very few moments in a cyclist, say I'm an amazing cyclist and I go to France, sure, you're going to be good and you're going to have a great time, but you're never going to cycle as well as a pro. But there's something unique about golf where you can hit a ball as well as a professional, and which in itself is a form of insanity because you're not as good as the professional. But golf lies to you. Golf whispers in your ears constantly, you're like, Rory, you could be as good as Tiger. It does it all the time. And we always fall for it and go, yeah, I could, you're right.
But there are moments in everyone's round, whether it's that 8 iron to 2 foot or it's that amazing putt that you have across the green, where you go, even a pro wouldn't have been able to do that. And that is true for this sport. And this was always the big argument against bifurcation, the splitting of the sport, the changing of the golf balls or whatever. So pros had one and amateurs had another. Is you lose the best thing about golf, which is we're playing the game that they're playing. And if you've got a few quid, you can also play on the courses that they play on.
Yeah.
Like, it's this amazing thing where it's like being able to run out at Wembley.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Also, the thing about bifurcation, which is just the weirdest word. Like, whoever came up with the branding for this whole procedure.
Real bad.
Let's go for bifurcation. What?
People can't even say it.
Bifurcation. It's going to set, the pros are going to be like 15 yards back.
Yes.
It's not going to be a massive difference. So for us, that's going to translate as 4 yards, 5 yards difference.
They
That's
say for
next
an
to
amateur,
nothing.
you won't even know. You won't
Sure,
even change.
let's agree to not continue extending the tech so that that pros especially can hit it further. That makes sense because golf courses are running out of space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't hit the ball even further because it's mad how different golf is now compared to in the 1990s, say.
In the 1990s, a time you were around in. I was around in, but you were more golfing.
Yeah, I was
then.
golfing. Yeah, 93 I started.
Were people hitting drives 300 yards?
No,
Or was that just unheard of?
all but.
Wow.
Like Nick Faldo's average was like 220, 230 in the 90s.
That can't be true.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, it's early 90s. And don't
Right.
forget, he was actually sort of at his peak, late 80s, really. But a 300-yard drive was a sort of a club myth. There was a guy at my club called Nick Head, and people would say Nick Head can hit it 300
Yeah.
yards. And you know what I mean? It was like
I saw him once on a summer evening.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
promise you it didn't hit the cart path.
Yeah.
It really went 300 yards.
It was the abominable snowman type vibes.
Yeah.
You know, the beast of Bodmin was the guy who could hit it 300 yards. No one's ever seen him do it, but they're convinced he can do it. Whereas now, you know, you've got all these guys who go out and hit it average 270, 280. They get a driver, a 3-wood, and they just have 9 wedges. And it's not the same game, man. It's not the same game.
No, they do say the game has changed so much from the days of when Tiger was in his prime, or as you get into sort of the late 80s and early 90s, where the game was shot shaping. It was the ability to hit different shots. You can bend it around a tree, or you can do X, Y, and Z. The game was a lot more creative.
They're still there. That is still there.
It's 100% still there.
But it's a big deal when it happens. We're going to the 16th now because you've got to see Rory's just hit a fade around some trees.
Yeah.
That is like a big moment now in a round of golf. I think that's really fair to say in a professional tournament when someone does something extraordinary, like, was it Ricky Fowler or who was it Bubba Watson hit it out on the Masters. When he won the Masters, he hit that incredible shape.
Yeah.
You know, and and rightly because it's genius. But back in the day, everyone used to have to do that a lot more.
He was before my time, but that was Sevi's whole thing, wasn't it? Sevi
Yeah.
was like super creative and
Sevi was less. Sevi could do shape, but he was. God, I feel like I'm 150 now. But he was a short game genius. That was his thing.
Right, yeah.
Sevi's thing was he could be under a tree needing to stop it on a 6, and he'd do it, and he'd hit a low. The famous story about Sevi was he could play his home course with a 3-iron and nothing else to scratch when he was 13 years old.
I love that. That's an amazing fact.
And I've told my son that. I've said, you're not getting any of the stuff on your birthday wish lists.
Start with the 3-iron.
All you need is a 3-iron.
Yeah.
Play to scratch, and then we'll talk.
Because this is that. I think this was the big worry when Bryson was doing the business first time round. Not new Bryson, was old Bryson.
Yeah.
When the game for a minute looked like all it was going to be, and I don't think it is as much as this now, but it looked like all it was going to be was drive as long as hard as you can, put it in the rough, wedge, putt. That's the whole game.
Yeah.
And I don't think it quite played out like that, because there was that famous quote when Bryson said St Andrews is basically a 67 or whatever, a 65, and then failed to shoot under par or whatever. There was a moment where it looked like the game was just going to be drive as far as you can, wedge. I don't think it is that.
So do you think the game has fought back a bit in recent years? Do you think the game has... Do you think there was a moment, wasn't there? You're right, and Bryson embodies it. There was a moment where it looked like size and length was going to conquer all. And sure enough, the game has come back and said, golf is a lot harder than that.
I think the Bryson experiment essentially failed, really, because he did that experiment with his body, which was, I'm going to be a long drive champion. I'm going to hit the ball as hard and as fast and as far as I can, and I'm going to dominate the sport. And there was a moment where it was like, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
And he failed to deliver on it. That doesn't mean he's not an amazing golfer. He's a brilliant golfer. But that seismic shift, the sort of Tiger Woods shift of, oh, bloody hell, I should probably start going to the gym and get fit, and that might help my golf. There was that moment which happened. Yeah. I thought the Bryson DeChambeau, get as big as you can, hit the ball as hard as you can, was going to be another seismic shift. I don't think it really was.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. I think that's fair to say. And it's interesting, isn't it, how, you know, when they play, like, for example, at St Andrews, you can have short holes. At Liverpool a couple of years ago, Royal Liverpool, do you remember the 17th, that tiny postage stamp par 3?
Oh, yeah.
It's because it had a bowl green. It frightened the life out of them, you know. I think that golf has always got a way to fight back. Make the rough longer. I don't know how you feel about this. The USPGA, like the fact they won, he won it on 21 under, was it, or 20 under?
Yeah, it was a big number.
Yeah. And they said that the greens were too soft and it was a bit too easy because the numbers were just going up, up, up. And it felt like a sort of standard USPGA event in that way. You know, when you turn into a random USPGA Thursday
and they're
night,
all 18, 19 under, and it just feels a bit easy.
And it's different. And then what I've always loved about the US Open particularly, the US Open famously is always the hardest one. And it's like you can get winners of the whole tournament on like 2 under. That has happened. I don't understand why, well, I do understand it's because the players kick off and complain in the interviews. Make the course as hard as possible. I get it. A lot of the courses are hard. Like the Augusta is insanely hard. But when you've got a normal course that isn't Augusta, make it really hard. It's good. It's good fun to watch.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it was when the US Open was in New York. I think actually Bryson might have won that major, and the rough was insane.
Yeah.
It was really up and really hard, and people were struggling. And it was the same course where Phil Mickelson was leading on the 18th and hit that awful slice at like 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I like seeing it. It's interesting.
But they don't do it because the players, I guess, I mean, I rightly, I guess, with long rough, the players can hurt themselves. They can hurt their wrists and stuff like that. I get that. That makes sense. But from an audience point of view, it's really interesting.
Yep.
Right? They're not all on 21 under. And stuff can go wrong. The jeopardy is up, you know? It'd be good.
Can we go back to Will's email?
All right. So if you didn't listen to the email special, we were
What were
just
you
talking...
doing? Because it's the best podcast episode we've ever done.
Yeah. So we heard from Will, and take us through what we talked about with Will.
So Will sent an amazing email, but I got to be honest, it was quite lengthy.
It was. And it's sort of, I had to go and do some work.
Yes.
Didn't I?
We'd already hit 38 minutes, which is 8 minutes over your quota.
Yeah.
So we had to...
That's free of charge, by the way. That's yours to keep. Have that.
We're not going to ask for it back. So we said, you know what, Will? We'll pick up where we left off in the next episode.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever... This is essentially our version of the Emmerdale... Is it not Emmerdale? The
EastEnders drums.
We've had one of those.
Yeah.
And we're picking up on the other side now.
All right, good. Yeah, fine. Why not?
So
he had big questions at the end of his email, didn't he?
Yes.
He was asking questions such as, could you please describe in detail your best hero shot?
Which we spoke about.
Which we've done.
Number 2, he says, if Augusta National auctioned off 100 tee times each year, open for anyone to bid on, how much money would each tee time go for?
Okay. Can I just say, Will, if you want to just email us questions for the show, that would be great. The toms@golfersruiningmylife.co.uk, because that is a superb question.
Great question. You're essentially now producing the podcast.
Thanks.
And for that, we are very grateful.
Thanks, Will. No money will be exchanged. Let's just ask that question one more time.
Yep.
Because also, we're getting towards the ads. If Augusta National auctioned off 100 tee times each year, open for anyone to bid on, how much money would each tee time go for? Think on that.
I think I know the answer. I think there's almost an answer to this. But I'm not going
Really?
to. Yes, ads, and then
Let's do some ads. Just treat ourselves to some other products and we'll come back in a second. Stand by.
love products. So Will's asked a really good question.
Yeah.
Which is, if Augusta National auction off 100 tee times each year, and for anyone to bid on, how much money would each tee time go for?
I mean, famously, there's a lot of people who play golf. And famously, there's a lot of people who play golf and have loads of money. 100 tee times, those are going to be $1 million plus each.
So, I know someone who went on a very big trip to Augusta to go and play golf around Augusta and play some courses and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You can get a tee time on Augusta if you know the right people, because there are people who will put you in contact with a member who will take you on.
Wow.
And from my memory, the rate that was quoted was $80,000 for the 4-ball.
I'm going to call it. That's not that bad.
I don't have $80,000.
I don't have that money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
It's a hell of a lot of money.
But it's a bucket list thing where you're like, I'm not even going to get that. Do you know what I mean? It's a bucket list, like, it's just impossible to imagine ever doing it.
So it's basically 30 grand a person.
Okay, but you need to know the people to know the people to know the people. The point of this question is, there are 100, they're available, it's on an auction site right now.
Yeah.
So actually, my question to you is, how much can you go to? What do you go to? And how do you explain to your fiance that you've just raided the wedding fund?
What would I pay to play Augusta? I mean, people are going to be able to outbid me on this, but I'd probably pay 2 grand.
I'd pay way more than that. I'd go to 10, 15 grand to play Augusta.
I don't have 10,
No, I
15
don't.
grand available.
I don't. I've got 2 kidneys though, and I only need one.
Yes, true. So you could sell one and play Augusta. Yes,
Let's make
true.
that work.
Yeah.
I just think to play Augusta, that for me is the I've had a hole in one sentence in golf. There's few things in golf that you can say that genuinely make people go,
Yeah.
oh my God. Someone tried to do it to me the other day with an eagle. I've had an eagle. I was like, I mean, that's really good. But what, today? Why are you telling me this like it's a story? Having a hole in one, we all know that's pretty cool. You get to say.
It's the best thing.
To be able to say, I've played Augusta, I would play golf for the rest of my life. Every single new person I met on the golf course, I'd say, hello, I'm Tom, I've played Augusta.
Yeah, would you?
That is worth 15, 20 grand. I'm sorry. And I know my kids, one day would like to have their
They
ISA.
need things. They need things.
They will need things.
Yeah.
But I need this more than they need food and clothes.
Yeah. I'm coming from the point of what, right now, standing here today, if I said to you, today, I need X amount of money and you can play Augusta, I would pay up to £2,000. After that, I've got to call people and ask for help.
Well, call people and ask for help. Because it's Augusta on the line, mate.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, get your priorities in order.
But don't you think we'd have that thing that we spoke about on the show a few weeks ago?
You wouldn't enjoy it. You wouldn't enjoy it.
The pressure of knowing that you'd paid 10 grand for a round of golf.
And then you get a 9 on the first.
Yeah. And you would, because it would.
Of course you would.
It'd throw you.
Of course you would.
It's a great question, though, Will. Thank you so much.
There's a third question as well there. Have you seen the third question? Do you think you could shoot 9 under at Augusta with the following parameters?
The parameters are
my God.
unlimited mulligans, as many balls as you can carry, no caddy, no golf cart, or buggies as you call them. But the catch is you only have 8 hours to do it. You have to play all 18 in order, as many mulligans as you need per hole. But once you hole out, you've got to move on. I absolutely love the podcast and look forward to a new episode at the beginning of each week. Keep up the good work, Will.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, I could do 9 under. Yeah. If I've got unlimited mulligans.
Yeah, I think. You just keep going and going and going at it.
Yeah. 9 under. Yeah. Yeah, I do that.
9 birdies.
Yeah, do that. Well, I'd get an eagle on the 15th, of course.
Yes, of course.
Thanks, Will. Right. Other emails that we've had as well. In fact, these ones have arrived very recently, haven't they?
So do you want to go through these?
Yeah. So we've got one from Tom. Just what this podcast needs, another Tom.
Yeah, just to make things more confusing, insert third Tom.
Here we are. Tom Causley. Hi, Tom and Tom. Hello, Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I've been playing now for around 6 months and finally decided now is the time to get some lessons. You've convinced me lessons over a new big stick I can't even hit straight.
It's annoyingly, it is the right answer. I wish it wasn't.
No, I know.
But it is the right answer. Get some lessons.
Of course. Here's my question. How often should you get a lesson? Once a week, once every 2 weeks, or even once a month? All the best to both of you. It depends where you are at with your game, I would say. I think if you're just starting and you're trying to get down to like 16 or something like that and you're off 24 at the moment, you should go once a week. If you're off 5 or 6 or 7, you should get once a month permanently. I know people who get a lesson every single month, all the time.
Is that right? Yeah, I think if you are trying to go from, as you say, 10 down to 5, that's going to be a very specific thing that you also need to put into your game. So, okay, do this. Right, I'm going to go and play 10 rounds or whatever and do that thing and then bring it back and go, oh, it's helped or it's not helped or whatever. If you're starting, goodness me, just as I would actually say as many as you can.
Yeah.
Because lesson 1, the grip. Get the grip right. There's half an hour done on getting the grip right. You've barely swung a club yet. So spend the next weekend playing, go back. Okay, let's work on a sand wedge or whatever. But I understand it's very expensive. So I always say, if you could do group lessons.
Yes, they do academy stuff, don't they? Those are really good.
Academies are amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
That's how I got in at Preston Golf Club. I mean, granted, it was a junior thing.
Yeah.
But there was like 12 of us. All kids, all juniors, and we all learned the rules together, and that saved mum and dad hundreds of pounds.
Of course. And a lot of people are flocking to the game at the moment because of our podcast and because of our TikTok presence.
Thank you.
And a lot of people are setting up these academy group lessons. It's a really good way of doing it. I've got a thought for you. I've got an idea.
Yes.
You know how psychologists came into sport in, I don't even know when it happened, maybe the 90s, the noughties, who knows? And it was a bit of a weird curveball thing. You know, there's a psychologist with the England squad. That's weird. So like there's this brilliant psychologist called Steve Peters. He wrote a book called The Chimp Paradox, which is
a very famous book.
Very famous book. He then worked with various football teams. He worked with Ronnie O'Sullivan, snooker player. Now, we all understand and have come to accept psychologists in professional sport. When are we going to take the leap and accept them in amateur sport? When is a golfer going to say, I'm going to see my golf therapist? Does that exist? Should it exist? Could it exist?
I don't think there's any need to in the amateur game.
Do you not think so?
No. I think there's too much other stuff to sort out in the amateur game. For me, it would have no benefit to me whatsoever.
I don't think that's true. I think it would benefit you massively.
Okay, let me rephrase that. If I had unlimited resources, yes, it'd be something that I would do.
So say you've got time in a week to go and have... look, you're going to say you want a normal lesson first and foremost. That's going to be your priority.
Every single time.
See, for me, I would prioritize, maybe this says more about me, but I think this is true of a lot of people I know who play golf. And I would also suggest that it's people who are towards... Well, if you have a fiery temper, say, or you get very nervous around golf, if you can control those demons and have a conversation with someone about it, that can improve your game way more. If your technique is sound and pretty solid and you're off 12, a psychologist could make you drop so many shots. But it's not the done thing. It's a professionals only thing. And I wonder, it is only a matter of time. I guarantee you you'll hear about people saying, yeah, I've got a golf therapist. And we talk about my nerves and we talk about how I feel over those putts. And it's like, what? You're off 14. Why are you bothering? Because it makes me enjoy the game more.
Yeah.
Golf is all about taking it as seriously as if you were a pro. I could see it happening.
I think you would benefit.
I think you would. You said that in a very nice way. What you should have said is, you definitely need.
And I say that because I think you hold your own game back more than I don't think I hold my own game back, because I don't think my game is as good. We know it's not as good as yours. Right, I think you are essentially a 2 or 3 handicap, but your brain, you get angry and you struggle with that, right?
Totally, but I think there's a lot of people who are like that, and also
totally, yeah.
And I think you underestimate how good you are as well. And I will say that to you. I think
which is the kindest thing you say to me,
of course. But I think that with someone, it would be interesting. I wonder if any psychologists and sports psychologists listen to the show. If they do, get in touch, because it'd be really interesting to have that conversation.
How fun would it be to do, if there are any sports psychologists that listen, to do a round before the chat?
That's what I'm saying.
Have the chat and then do a round a week later and see if there's any benefit. That's massive.
If you know one, the toms@golfersruiningmylife.co.uk. If you are watching this on TikTok, write in the comments below. If you know a sports psychologist or you think you are one, maybe, get in touch, because I think that would just be fascinating.
But I would rather sort my chicken wing out, if I'm honest. With my limited resources, I'd rather go... I really don't want that chicken wing.
You said the other day you don't care about your chicken wing anymore.
No, I know. You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care.
The danger is what happens, and we discovered this when we started filming episodes of this, which are available on YouTube. Until I started regularly watching my swing back on camera, I thought it was great. And then I started watching it back just going, oh, it's really not. And it's the vanity and self-examination of watching it back on video is useful if you've got a pro with you. But if you're by yourself, you can lose your mind.
It's just... sorting my chicken wing out is purely an aesthetic thing.
It's a vain thing, yeah.
It's a vain thing, which is so stupid because I could be off scratch with a chicken wing.
Yeah.
Scratch is amazing, but Scratch isn't that good. You can have a lot of issues in your game and still be off Scratch.
Yeah.
And Scratch is, with my limited time I've got available, the best I'm ever going to be.
God, are you ill? What's happening?
No, not got long left, Bryce.
How long have you got? All right, fine. So look,
Can we do another email?
Let's do another. We've only got a few minutes to go of this episode, sadly. Let's do another email.
So this comes in from no name on this. Your email's not got a name, but you're you're from the year 1996, I'd imagine.
No, it's George. Look, it says at the bottom. Kind regards, George.
Thanks, George, from 1996.
Hi, George.
Big up the Toms of golf.
Are we the Toms of golf?
It means so much to me.
Wow.
I love the podcast. So the news of 2 a week is brilliant. I've been playing golf for 3 years now and I've got down to 12.5, which is incredible. The goal is low single digits one day, so fingers crossed.
Yes.
2 things that have changed my life and got me down the handicaps are a 7-wood.
Yeah.
Ka-ching.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him saying this. Mm-hmm. A mini driver.
Great actor.
Mini driver. Is that an Adam Driver joke?
No, there's an actor called Mini Driver.
Is there?
Yes.
Too young. In his bag is... This is an actor called Mini Driver.
Yes.
This is why we can't work on magic together. Your reference points aren't the same as mine. In his bag, he's got a driver, 9 degrees, and a mini driver of 12.75 degrees.
I think she's only got 1 degree in acting.
Are you okay today? This is bad
I'm
stuff.
not okay.
This
I'm
is
not
bad.
okay.
This is bad. 4 wood, 7 wood, 5 hybrid, 6, 7, 8, 9, pitching wedge, 50, 54, 58 putter. I love that bag setup.
Guess what I'm going to say?
Go on.
Too many wedges.
Too many wedges. Yes. We say that a lot on this. Yes.
Idiotic number of wedges. 50. You got pitching wedge 50, 54, 58. Put away the 54 and the 58. Get better at chipping with the 50.
I'm a massive advocate of more amateurs carrying another driver. Having a shorter shafted, higher lofted driver in the bag has changed my game massively. I think everyone should try it. I use the TaylorMade 300 Mini, but a regular driver with a higher loft, say 12 degrees with a shorter shaft around 43 inches, would do the trick nicely. Interesting. But you could typically pick higher loft drivers up on eBay cheaper because they aren't sought after.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for the podcast. Would be great if you could organise a golf day in the future, maybe. Eyes.
We need to do that.
Yes. Good luck with your games. P.S. I play it later. Buzzard. It's a beautiful hidden gem not far from Woburn, and you're always welcome as a guest. Interesting.
Do it. Let's go to Leighton Buzzard, mate. Bring all your wedges.
The mini driver. Would you ever put it in your bag?
Yeah, I'm interested to know what makes you, George, choose the driver when you use the driver. Is it a risk thing? Is it you go, well, there's plenty of width here, so it's fine if I screw it up? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In which case, I feel like...
Hold on. In which case, I'd use the forward.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm wondering how it fits in. It sounds to me like you've just got the driver for show and you just use the mini driver all the time. Because that's what I would do. I've got my 2-iron and I can hit that 220, find the fairway, and I'll just do that now. Because my driver, it might go 260 if I smack it, but it's just not finding the fairway.
So your 2-iron is his mini driver?
Yeah, I think so.
Did I tell you about my friend, by the way, talking about shafts and short shafts?
Go on.
We got time for this?
Yeah, go on. You've got 1 minute.
Okay. So I went to play golf with my friend Louis the other day, new to golf. And he went, I got the shaft shortened on my driver. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds great. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, it just felt too long previously. And I thought I could control it more if it was shorter, more like a 3-wood. And I was like, okay.
There's something in that.
Some logic to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how much did that cost? He went, I did it myself.
Oh my God.
I said, you what? I said, he said, yeah. I just put it in a vise and sawed off 2.5 inches and then regripped it.
That is
Like, are you mad?
insane.
Yeah.
Why? Can you imagine taking your £500 club, popping it in a vice? I once added lead weights to my putter when I was a kid.
Lead weights is classic though, isn't it? And the lead tape on irons, everyone used to do that.
Can we do that as a thing? DIY. What is the golf DIY thing that you've done? When have you fiddled with a club? What have you done to it? Has it worked? The Toms at golfersruiningmylife.co.uk.
Have you ever shortened your own driver and or iron lengths? Because he was like, it might have compromised the shaft a bit. And I'm like, maybe, yeah.
How were his shots with it?
It was all right. It was good. He's new to golf, and do you know what? I give him a lot of credit because he was hitting a bit of a banana fade, a bit of a slice, really. And I was like, but do you know what, Louis? The best thing about that is it's consistent, and that's not a joke. When I came back to golf, I had a two-way miss, and it was impossible to play. It was a banana slice or like a low hooky one. You can't play that.
No.
Whereas with him, I was like, you're going to end up the right.
Nothing.
So play for that a bit.
Exactly right. As long as your fail is consistent, you can work with that.
Work with it,
if you go into any clubhouse and say, I've got a two-way miss, whoever you're with will go, let me go to the bar. What do you need? What do you want? Because that is a nightmare. Listen, we're going to have to knock it on the head here. Thank you so much for your email, George. We really appreciate you getting in touch. And we appreciate all of you getting in touch. The Toms at golfisruiningmylife.co.uk. I would love it. The golf DIY stuff you've done, I think there's something in that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Like stuff that you've done to your golf clubs or your golf game or your golf bag or whatever, and it's improved it.
Yes.
Or made it worse.
I mean, I'm more interested in when it makes it worse, to be honest. Yeah.
The Toms at golfisruiningmylife.co.uk. And thank you so much for joining us on another episode of your favourite golf podcast. It's Golf is Ruining My Life.
Goodbye, 4 left.
Bye.